Ladies and gentlemen, San Jose Earthquakes 2021 MLS season preview. Thanks for joining me. I am Mike Guglielmi, your host, Sons of a Pitch Soccer Podcast. Team preview episodes rolling right along. Getting into the latest one, San Jose Earthquakes, 8th place in the West last season, 30 points with a negative 17 goal differential. Not good for the Earthquakes. Not horrible. They finished 8th in the West, but still, they got to do a little bit better this season, especially with Matias Almeyda. We'll talk more about him later on in the show as well. Make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end of the show when I give my predictions for how the Earthquakes will do here in the 2021 MLS Cup season. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our awesome American soccer content. And let's get right into some of the players in and the players out for this offseason. Not a lot of movement for the Earthquakes this year. Does that bode well? Does it not bode well? I don't know. I think the stability is good in MLS. However, I think they could do a little bit better and bring in a few more pieces into the Earthquakes to get them a little bit more over the top than where they are right now. Players in. Javier Eduardo Lopez signed from Chivas. Eric Remedy, a trade from Atlanta United. Benji Kikanovic from Reno 1868. And then defender Luciano Abascasis, a free transfer. Players out, Nick Lima, drafted by Austin FC, and then Danny Hoesen, selected by Austin FC in the MLS expansion draft. So a couple players out that were real mainstays in the lineup for the Earthquakes the last couple of seasons, Danny Hoesen and Nick Lima. Now they bring in some replacements. Eduardo Lopez from Chivas looks to be quite the player. Eric Remedy from Atlanta, you know what you're getting from him. I'm excited to see Eric Remedy play in that midfield for head coach Matias Almeyda. I think it could be a good fit for sure for Remedy. Now, looking at the designated players, here is where this team is lacking. According to the San Jose Earthquakes website, they only have one designated player, Christian Espinoza, 25-year-old Argentine. He's a supplier. He is more of a assister and feeding the ball, number 10, so to say, than a goal scorer. Even though he can score goals. Out of 23 appearances last season, 3 goals and 9 assists. Almost the same output as 2019, but in fewer games. So he's trending in the right direction. Is this the year that Christian Espinoza really blows up and is one of the top designated players in MLS? For the Earthquake's sake, I hope that is the case so that they can get a little bit better. MLS Cup odds for the Earthquakes, not so hot. The Earthquakes are plus 6,600 towards the bottom of the league as projected MLS Cup winners. Not a lot of people riding the train for the Earthquakes to win it all this season. I can't say I blame them. If I was putting money, I probably wouldn't put money on the Earthquakes right now. They do have the potential. I like this team a lot. I think if they spent a little bit more money, that would be hugely beneficial. And we'll talk more about that again later on in the show. So breakout youngsters, this section here is a interesting section. We have to get help from Reddit because being a national podcast and YouTube show, there's no way I can keep up with all of the homegrown players in all of the different teams, 27 teams to be exact. So we go over to Reddit, ask for some help through Reddit, and boy, oh boy, the Reddit community never lets you down. They came up with and kind of helped me make this decision. The first one, Jacob Akinurich. This guy, 19-year-old defender, could break out at right back due to the lack of the depth for the Earthquakes on the right. However, he could also play center back. So Jacob Akinurich could definitely be a household name by the time the season is over, especially with like Osvaldo Alanis. He's not going to be able to play 34 straight games, so you're going to have to give some of the depth a chance, and this could be the time to shine for him. The second breakout youngster, Cade Cowell. This is his year. The lack of depth at forward is insane. Wando cannot do it all himself. Apparently ownership, the management team is 100% putting this on Cade Cowell. This is your year, young man. Wando is 38 years old. He was flirting with retirement. There's no way that he's going to be able to play 34 games plus MLS or plus U.S. Open Cup games, possibly playoffs. There's no way. So Cade Cowell is going to get his shot. This is his time to take it, and he could really break out. He's always been on the cusp for the last year or so as being a conversation piece for the U.S. national team at the youth level, and being one of those players that could really break out. And for me, I think Cade Cowell could be that guy this season, could break out and be a household name in MLS going forward. All right, guys, you see that little blue button down at the bottom next to the subscribe button? It says join. Hit that join button and come be a part of our community here with Sons of a Pitch, an American soccer podcast. This community is amazing. We watch games together. We do live stream reactions. We're constantly chatting about that. Team previews, live podcast episodes. One of the key perks of joining a membership, which helps us grow the sport of soccer here in the United States. Every contribution helps, and it allows us to help grow the sport, but through conversation. That was the goal when we started Sons of a Pitch, and it's still the goal now, and can't wait to see who will be the next member to join. You look at the options, having your name in the scroll as a member of our community, as well as the custom emojis and loyalty badges. Then we'll be doing, if you're a designated player level for $4.99 a month, you can get it into our live stream reaction members only lives. Coming up, we're going to pick one game a month that will strictly be for members only, and then we'll kind of go from there the rest of the time. Now, make sure you hit that join button down below and help support this wonderful venture of ours here. All right, now moving next up to the coach, Matias Almeyda. In my opinion, one of the best coaches in Major League Soccer. MLS is lucky to have him. He probably is punching below his weight in MLS. He could be a coach at any other club in CONCACAF for sure, and possibly a lot of other clubs around the world, even over in Europe. Now, for him, I would love to see this man working with an ownership group that spends a bunch of money. There's one designated player. Could you see him with 3 designated players? Could you see the type of team that he would be able to put out? And the fact that this is going on here with San Jose really makes you question the ownership group. Why are they not putting more money into this? You have a great coach. You have a good core. Spend the money and go after a championship. Can you imagine Matias Almeyda at a club like Toronto, Miami, New York, or an LA team, LAFC, or the Galaxy, where they're spending tons of money? Probably winning championships. That's how highly I rate Matias Almeyda is. I'm sure you guys do as well. Great coach, really could do a lot more with a lot more help from the management team. And that, unfortunately, has been the story in San Jose for a long time, and I think it will continue on that way. Now let's talk a little bit about the projected starting 11 for the San Jose Earthquakes this season. JT Marcinkowski, he is your guy in goal now. He is going to be the man between the sticks. He's going to get a chance to play in the Olympic qualifiers for the United States under-23 team. Can't wait to see that. As far as the back line, the 4 at the back, Lopez, Alanis, Youngworth, and Thompson. In the midfield, Fierro, Uil, Remedy, and Espinoza, with Lopez and then Wando up front in those 2 singular positions. Wando is the most important player for the San Jose Earthquakes. Looking at this lineup, you've got a lineup that's pretty strong. They've got some talent, but after that, the depth kind of wears down a little bit, and especially that depth up front is what really scares me. So most important player, we've been doing this segment for every single team. The most important player is the guy who this team is going to kind of live and die through. If he has a great season, the team's going to do well. If he doesn't have a good season, the team's not going to be successful. That player is Wondolowski, the all-time leading goal scorer in MLS. 38 years old. He has to do it again. Flirting with retirement, it's a tough task to put the weight of a most important player on a guy like Wando, who's a guy who was thinking about retirement last season. We thought he was going to retire, and he didn't. he's really the only striker on this roster right now. He's going to need to score a ton of goals and be the man. Can Wondo have another great season? Only time will tell. He is the leading goal scorer in MLS. I'm sure he can do it again, but chances are he's going to start regressing a little bit, and that will not bode well for the Earthquakes. So, first game of the season for the Earthquakes is Friday, April 16th, the first game of the MLS season versus the Houston Dynamo. This team will be out on the pitch first for MLS and against Houston on that Friday night, the 16th, before the 17th. That Saturday will be the real opening kickoff there Saturday-wise. But can't wait for this first game against Houston. Two of the teams who had rough years last year, trying to improve on them. So should be a good one. Now, the part we've all been waiting for, predictions. What are my predictions for the San Jose Earthquakes? Well, as you can probably tell based off of this show, it's not very good. As far as a ceiling, for this team, I think a ceiling is just getting into the playoffs and having an away game in the playoffs. So I will go with 6th in the West. That is my ceiling. So all goes well, I think is a 6th seed in the Western Conference. As far as a floor, dead last. This team could fall apart. Matias Almeida could end up leaving, and the team completely falls apart. So that is my predictions for the Earthquakes. I don't think it's going to be a very, very good season for them. Hopefully they prove me wrong. This fan base deserves it. The San Jose fans are unbelievable fans, diehard fans, and we have a few of them here of the show that communicate with us quite regularly, and definitely hoping for better times for the Earthquakes, although I just can't put my money on it for sure. So that kind of does it here for the team preview. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and click that little notification bell so you don't miss any of our awesome American soccer content. And good luck to the Quakes this season. Can they do the impossible and make a run in the playoffs? I don't see it happening, but you never know. And of course, things change in MLS all the time due to the parity that is there. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you all very soon. Have a good one, and go Quakes.